Did you see that incredible move today in GW Pharmaceuticals, the British biotech company specialized in creating medicines designed from the components of cannabis, the scientific name for marijuana? This is not some reefer madness play on medicinal pot smoking. Because it's based in Britain, GW Pharma can grow its own cannabis plants, pure cannabis, and study their ingredients, which it then synthesizes into real medicine. They've already got one product on the market called Sativex, which is a mouth spray that helps treat multiple sclerosis spasms. Remember, regardless of what the states do, the feds still ban growing marijuana in this country, except in one bizarre location, the University of Mississippi. However, the real story here, the reason the stock was up huge today, was because of some great news involving Epidiolex, which is an orphan drug that helps to treat various rare types of pediatric epilepsy, including Dravet syndrome. Today, the company announced some incredibly positive phase 3 clinical trial results for this therapy, and they expect to file a new drug application with the FDA in the first half of next year. Given that Epidiolex has the potential to be a real blockbuster, you can understand why the stock surged to a new 52-week high today. So let's take a closer look with Justin Govries, the CEO of GW Pharmaceuticals, hear more about this clinical trial data and his company's process. Mr. Govers, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me back on the program.
Of course, sir. It's really some amazing data here. A monthly drop in seizures of 42% compared with just a 17% reduction in placebo. What is this doing for the children and their families?
Well, I think the context of this is so important. This is a type of epilepsy which is particularly difficult to treat. The children in this trial had previously tried 10 other anti-epileptic drugs. So the impact we've had, that we've shown today, is a hugely important potential breakthrough in the treatment of a condition called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. Of course, we still have yet to apply to the FDA and to have approval, but this is a huge step on that journey.
Now, 225 people in the trial. How many does the FDA really need before they just say, we have got to give these children and their families the GW Pharmaceutical Epidiolex?
Well, the good news is this is actually the third positive trial within the field of treatment-resistant childhood-onset epilepsy that we've reported results for in the last 6 months, so that we now have a very robust and, we believe, comprehensive body of data to file the NDA submission with the FDA, and we are now on track to do that in the first half of 2017.
So you mentioned that they take many different medicines. So in other words, these children have been taking, what, you've got people 16, 17, they've been taking medicines all their life and nothing's worked?
Well, unfortunately, in the case of epilepsy, it's a very complex condition, and there are certain types of epilepsy where the currently available medications have limited efficacy or are not well tolerated. So this is something which is hugely important, obviously, to the company, but most importantly to the children and the families of those children who have to deal with this condition on a daily basis. To put it into context for you, the children in this trial, on average, were having, despite all that medication, 3 seizures a day, so 90 seizures a month, approximately.
Oh, my God, I had no idea it was that much. Now, I know that there are other uses, and I know that you've got to stay within the bounds of what the FDA wants, but we in this country have a very limited view about what marijuana can do versus what many of the doctors say. There are many prescriptions for marijuana written by doctors, but can you just describe the difference between pure cannabis and what many different medicinal stores, so to speak, in America offer, and why one's dangerous, the one that's offered here, and why yours is less dangerous?
Well, the critical thing to understand is that the cannabis plant contains a family of molecules called cannabinoids. They are, each of them has its own distinct therapeutic potential. So the Epidiolex, this epilepsy potential product, contains a single molecule from cannabis called cannabidiol. It does not make you high, but it appears, of course, to have these encouraging effects. And we at GW Pharmaceuticals are looking at a range of these different molecules within the cannabis plant. So it's important to understand that when we talk about, or you refer to marijuana, in our eyes, we're not talking about one thing. We're talking about different molecules that all come from this very interesting plant source.
But also, I think it's fair to say that that we cannot necessarily get proper dosing in the kind of thing that the United States is doing, nor can you necessarily preclude that the marijuana, so to speak, isn't laced with something in our country versus what you're doing, which is pure.
Well, the fundamental principle that we operate to is it really should be the FDA that determine whether a medicine should be made available. And as you talk about, it's not just about safety and efficacy. The control of the manufacturing process, guaranteeing that the formulation that a child takes every day is identical and that it's been rigorously tested and the level of controls and the purity can be assured, is a basic principle of modern medicine. And we believe that principle absolutely needs to be applied in this area.
So where will you be, say, in terms of trials for compassionate use for those who are dying of cancer and really just have endless pain, or people who are addicted to opiates and there's no hope?
Well, of course, at the moment, for a very good reason, our focus is very much in the field of epilepsy. But we have been working in the field of cannabinoid science for nearly 18 years in areas such as pain. You mentioned multiple sclerosis earlier. We continue to look at various types of cancer, inflammatory disease, arthritis, and we're particularly interested in diseases of the central nervous system for children. So I think what we see here is that the Epidiolex represents a bit of a breakthrough, not just, of course, for this product and for the children that we can treat, but also for this class of medicine and for the potential of cannabinoids to have a range of uses as we move forward into the future.
All right, one last question, Mr. Grover. You know that there were many reports that you hired Morgan Stanley be able to handle approaches by other drug makers. Is that anything you can confirm or deny, or is that just something that there's been reportage about, but there's no confirmation?
Yeah, Jim, as you would probably expect, I'm afraid I don't comment on those kind of rumors.
Well, I don't blame you. And look, congratulations on what you're doing, and I do hope that I hope for speedy approval for these families. This is a terrible disease.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that's Justin Grover, CEO of GW Pharmaceuticals. This is a very important medical breakthrough. We like to talk about these. Yes, is it investable? Of course. Mad Money's back in. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.